This is Julianne Condia, host of Rewritten. Thank you so much for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Disarming Disability.
Hi, I'm Nicole Kelly, and I'm a speaker and an activist.
And hi, I'm Sarah Tuberty. I'm an occupational therapy student, a flight attendant, and an aerial artist.
We both live with a disability. We both were born with a congenital limb difference and are hosts of a new podcast, Disarming Disability, coming to you on Public House Media.
So come learn, explore, and understand disability so we can deconstruct these social stigmas and really build a more inclusive society.
Subscribe on Apple Podcasts or at publichousemedia.org. Come hang out with us every Wednesday. Also follow us on Twitter at DisarmDisable, Instagram and Facebook at Disarming Disability, and check out our website at disarmingdisability.com.
Bye!
Hello everyone, it is No Filter Friday on Public House Media, and I'm sitting here underneath a blanket with a LaCroix, trying for the third time to get this live to go, and it's cold. I'm so sick of being cold in LA. Like, we pay all these taxes, we sit in all this traffic for it to be effing cold, and I can't anymore, kids. I just can't. So I'm gonna take a second. Okay, posted, shared. My dogs are sitting here being really disruptive and rotten, as per usual. They don't really do much else, if we're being honest here. So, I've been burning my phone battery up so fast these days. It's terrible. I don't think this phone's can really handle the the crap that's being thrown at it. So, oh, hello, Dan Kirk. I was at WB this week visiting, having Starbucks, seeing who's around. My friend Jason that I've been friends with forever. And then he and I made this weird movie for PGA a couple years ago. I went to go drop in on him because I was like, wait a second. Driving past every single day because I'm a 5-day at Chipotle a week kind of a person. And I'm just driving past you and I'm not saying hello, and that's not right. So I went to go visit Jason and see what he was doing, see what he was up to. And then when I was finished, yes, I am a 5 days a week at Chipotle kind of a person. I'm on an all guacamole diet, if you can't tell. I was really hoping on turning green, but it didn't. Oh, Louis Francisco, bonsoir, sir, bonsoir. It is, I would say that it is in fact a bonsoir, but I'm effing cold, so I don't personally think it is. Anyway. And then after Jason had to go back to his building. I went to go see my friend Oliver Mack, who is in his last assignment because he got into the DGA trainee program, which is huge and amazing because they only take like 10 people a year. So then after that, he is completely fully DGA, which is awesome. I met him when I was working on The Reel. When I was doing runway on The Reel, and he was like our AP or something. But anyway, he's awesome. I went to go visit his show on the back lot, and it looked super cool. So I was bopping around WB, and I was like, wow, it feels kind of different around here. Like, everybody's on like another vibe. And Jason was like, yeah, like since the CEO got ousted, and they're like hunting for a new one. They're like between CEOs. They're single Pringles basically. It's kind of feeling weird. So I was like, that's understandable. I could see why people would say that. So then I did some digging on it. Did some actual digging to go with these vibes. And I found this article, Warner Brothers CEO's resignation sheds revealing light on Hollywood and the #MeToo campaign. This is from today, I think, or yesterday. And it's kind of a long article, but it's kind of intricate how this happened, because apparently the now former chairman and CEO, Kevin Shihara, was kicking it with this Australian actress, Charlotte Kirk, at the behest of Brett Ratner and James Packer. James Packer is an Australian billionaire, by the way. And at the time that they were hooking up, it was when Brett Ratner was getting that extra, I forget how much, did they even say how much money it was? It was a lot of money. I think it was like 300 million or something like that. No, I lied. They were sealing the $450 million deal that Rat Pack was doing with Warner Brothers. If you'll remember, in the way back, one of the first episodes of the show that I did was on Brett Ratner, and it was when basically the LA Times was like, yeah, we just put all these chicks together that said that Brett Ratner did X, Y, and Z things that he shouldn't have been doing. And Stephen was at, supposed to be doing stand-up at that event that of the like Jewish Federation that was honoring him. And then people started backing out, mainly Gal Gadot. And then once Gal Gadot backed out, Brett's life was basically over, because Warner Brothers pulled the plug on this $450 million deal. I think they had, and his involvement with Wonder Woman at all. So they're, my lips are in terrible shape. So they've decided, they got rid of him then. So this was around the time that Ratner and Packer were doing this, on the lot deal with Warner Brothers surrounding Wonder Woman and the success of Wonder Woman. So here's where things get interesting. This was all consensual, and what I thought was interesting about it was that people keep saying, in regards to like the people accusing Harvey Weinstein or the people accusing Bill Cosby, or like basically any of these people, like the people that are like deniers of this are like, well, these people just wanted to, sleep with these guys for parts and blah, 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 which is a theory. But again, how I've talked about Harvey for a long time is that he didn't have any interest in chicks that couldn't get parts. They already had the parts. And then he would use the fact that they had the part against them to be like, hey, you're going to suck my dick because I said so. And if you don't, then I'm going to fire you from this part. And then everyone's going to be mad at you, like your agents and your managers and all these people that were about to get a check cut off of you. So now they're going to be mad and you're going to be difficult to work with and all these things. So we've already had this, this discussion on this show over and over and over again. But what I thought was interesting with this was that even though the Charlotte Kirk chick was having very clear-cut rendezvous with the CEO of Warner Brothers, he still couldn't get her parts, which makes sense. And the thing is about like people that got parts because they were with somebody or they had a very clear-cut deal with somebody, a la Cameron Diaz or Denise Richards, do you ever hear either one of them complaining? No, and they're not going to. They're never going to complain because they got theirs and it worked out great for them. It's when people didn't want to be a part of that is when things go sideways. So, on March 6th, the Hollywood Reporter revealed the existence of hundreds of texts between Shihara and British actress Charlotte Kirk and the film business partners Brett Ratner, James Packer. The story emerges is this. Packer, 45, began a relationship with Kirk, 20, a struggling actress, in 2012. Why she decided to leave a billionaire as a struggling actress is beyond me. But this girl's decisions are obviously questionable. But that's just my own personal judgment. In October 2013, Packer set up a rendezvous between Kirk and the married Sushihara for the ostensible purpose of advancing her career. Afterward, Kirk complained by text that Sushihara was not very nice, and then he only wanted to have sex. In February 2014, Kirk was asking Yoshihara in a text about the television role she had auditioned for. The executive replied, "Yes, I spoke to our guys. I caused a bit of a stir. I don't usually call about casting about these types of roles. It's fine. I just need to be careful. Doesn't look great. Let's look for a movie role." I mean, it basically keeps going back and forth like this. And then once it didn't really work out, Charlotte Kirk goes back to Packer and Ratner, and she's like, WTF, dude? Like, you got your deal, where's mine, basically. This is what you said. And then they got, really nervous because they have all of this in writing, this, in text messages that, everybody's going to do X, Y, and Z. And it didn't really pan out that way. The problem being with this whole him having to resign from being the CEO of Warner Brothers is really messed up because nobody did anything unconsensually, and she said that this guy didn't do anything wrong, and he said that she didn't do anything wrong, or him for that matter, and yet WB just wanted him to resign because they have all of this text message and all of this. And I understand for that perspective of like he was out doing the casting couch thing in writing, like with his real name and his real phone number attached to it, which is stupid. Like I can see how that would be a problem, but to be like, to call, like, it's just not for her to be like a Me Too blah blah blah. It doesn't really shake out here because she did all of this consensually, and to beat all, she was getting auditions. Like, if you're getting auditions, like that's like obviously you're getting in front of people. You're getting in front of casting directors, you're getting in front of directors and producers for film and TV. So there's not really much else anybody can do. It's just kind of bizarre. But what my overall point is, though, is that this whole, all you have to do is like casting couch for a part isn't true. It's just not. Like, I forget who said it, but like you can only sleep your way to the middle, which is 100% true. She was obviously already in the middle. She started her situation in Australia, and then, hi Gary, hi Jerry, and John, hey John. Oh my God, I haven't seen you in forever, John. Oh my goodness. Like she started her career in Australia. She found her way to Hollywood, and she's getting auditions and dumping a billionaire to go sleep with the CEO of Warner Brothers. Like, the chick's not doing bad. She's not. So she made it to the middle. The fact that she's not getting, like, she's not going further than like a callback or whatever, and she's not getting, Gary Taylor. The fact that she's not getting booked, like, nobody can really do anything about that, up to and including the CEO of the entire freaking studio. So again, you can only sleep your way to the middle. It doesn't, the top thing doesn't work. Like, it's only really, like, because you still have to show up and do the job. Like, you have to be able to do the job, and the job has to fit you. Otherwise, it's a non-starter. Like, you can't, people think that, like, talent is, like, interchangeable, and it's not. It's a huge mistake. It's the right person for the right thing. And like, you don't go into auditions for them to see if you can act or not. That's not a thing. Like, that's what your agents and managers are for. Like, there's already several gates that you have to pass through before you're even getting into an audition or getting into a callback from an audition. Like, you can't just be given roles. Like, that's just not how this works. And I get that people could be like, well, it's a special case because the CEO of Warner Brothers wasn't a producer. He was not in the entertainment industry at all. Out of college, he built like a tax prep software program and then sold it, and then started like finding his way into other like financial management situations. And for the finance end of Warner Brothers. He did a really good job. Like, you know, they've had their DC problems and this, that, and the other thing, and he's righted the financial ship. And a lot of times studio producers aren't like on set people. They're just not. Most of them never go to set at all. Or if they do, they come and they grab a donut from craft service and be like, oh yeah, I went to set today, blah, 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 blah. But they swung by craft service, took that donut, walked it through Video Village. It was like, yeah, I went today. Like they didn't really like, you know, stay or preside over anything. They went back to their office and produced from their office, which is fine. Like it takes all types, whatever. But a lot of that big rift between like physical production and like studio production is because of that separation. And let that be a lesson to all. You could even be sucking the CEO of the studios, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you're not right for the part, you're not right for the part. I mean, Tori Spelling could have told you that. Her father owned the frickin' studio and was able to put her in stuff. But that hasn't been, or Roger, you know, like, I'm sure you can back me up on this. Like, Tori Spelling hasn't been able to keep that going other than reality TV because she married a douche nozzle and she keeps popping out kids. Like, that's the only reason she stays in the tabloids. Other than that, nobody really cares. She's a super nice lady. I did a pilot with her and Jeannie Garth a few years ago. Oh, I guess more than a few years ago now. She's a cool lady. She's cool to work with, but, like, she's got that big old face on her. People know the relationship between her and her mom and Candy, and, like, they're interested in the drama of her life, not on-screen drama. And to quote yet again the infinite wisdom of Snoop Dogg, like you could completely, like, on the outside, like, clone someone. Like you could take a superstar and be like, okay, we're gonna take this other person who's a nobody and give this person the same clothes, the same publicist, the same agent, the same this, the same that. You could literally on the outside carbon copy that person. But it doesn't matter because A, stars are born, they're not made, and B, like, they'll never be that original person. They're just going to be an outside copy of this person, and you can't make people care. You can't do it. There's people in this town that have spent $1 billion and years and years and years of their life trying to get people trying to get famous, but people have to care and have to be invested in you to be famous. And furthermore, Casey Anthony's famous. Charles Manson was famous. That doesn't mean anything. It doesn't do anything. Roger Neal, these studio heads hopefully are learning a lesson through all of this. Yeah, I certainly hope so. Like, if anything, like, don't put dumb things in writing. Seriously? You're going to be texting things like this with your real phone number and your real name? Get a burner phone. Get a freaking Google number. That way at least you got plausible deniability. Like, I don't know. That's maybe not my phone number. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, they can't be this senseless. They just can't be. David Bowie. Who would have thought that a movie called Mother May I Sleep with Danger wouldn't take off? Points for you, David Bobke. Points for you. There are no shortcuts to stardom. You're right, Roger Neal, and you would know. You would know. It's just people either dig you or they don't. That's it. That's it. There's nothing you can do about that. Which is further evidenced by, like, there's several people that are a huge deal that have a twin or whatever. So a literal copy of themselves. Like, genuinely a copy of themselves. Does that person do anything? No. Like, look at Cardi B's sister or Solange. God love them both. I mean, they're both cool ladies, but is Solange Beyonce? No. Is she ever going to be Beyonce? No. At the best, she's Beyonce's sister that beat up Jay-Z in an elevator. It was her best day. Because nobody really cares about Solange. She's a cool lady. She's not Beyonce. Or like Cardi B. When Cardi B's sister goes down the red carpet because Cardi graciously gets her invited. Her slate says blah, 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 Cardi B's sister. That is her credit in life. So people aren't like, who is this? Who is this chick? I don't even know her. But she kind of, is that like her friend or whatever? Like, no. Like, you just can't. You can't. If it's meant to be, it will be. If it's not, it's not. And for the love of God, stop putting things in writing with your real phone number and your real name. What are you doing? Have an assistant. If Ari Gold can give his credit card to Lloyd and be like, Lloyd, run over to Rolex and get me one of the like stainless steel ones that's only like a couple bucks. Like, I don't want to show, we can't show off for Andrew Klein today. It's going to make him feel bad. If he can do that, then the CEO of Warner Brothers can send the 10th PA to like Walgreens down the street and get him a burner phone so he doesn't lose his position as the CEO of a major studio over his correspondence with some chick. Because if they wouldn't have had it in writing, they couldn't have pinned it on him. He would still be over there, still fixing the facts and figures at Warner Brothers, and we wouldn't even be having this conversation because nobody would know. If people kept their mouths shut, and if they just didn't put things in writing with their own real phone number. Couldn't pin it on him, but like, oh, I don't even know the phone number. Who is this? How do you know it's me? Oh, because it's on your studio provided phone, you idiot. Like, this is why there is such a thing as fixers and crisis management and why it's so expensive, because these people are obviously morons. I tell you what, when they say hoes need to be slapped around, they weren't kidding. They really do. It's so silly. Roger Neal, you're 100. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Roger, you know this. You know what crisis management looks like. It's true. 100% true. Gary says today's talent is all based on perception, which equates to who you can market themselves the best. That's 100% true. If you're not marketable, you're not marketable. Just the way it is. Some people are, or you're not. It's kind of a pass-fail thing. It's not multiple choice. Either it is or it's not. It's not all, it's not A, B, C, or D, or a combination of, or, all of the above, whatever. Pass-fail. Yes or no. People dig it or they don't. The end. Like, that's all there is to it. Of course you've done crisis management for your clients. But even still, all press is good press at this point. But like, when you're losing your job as CEO and you were making a fat chunk of change and making history. He was the first Asian American to ever run a major studio. Like, that's a huge deal. And the fact that he didn't come from entertainment, he like found his way up through like tech and a financial track record and this, that, and the other thing. Like, the man with the impeccable, beautiful financial track record can't get a different phone number, so he can't be pinned with these. Can't say undesirable, because there was definitely some desire in these activities, but like unethical dealings. Like, really? You reworked all these other numbers, but you couldn't get a Google phone. What are you doing? Why would you do this? It's so silly. I can't with them. Leaving all of this correspondence trail in writing. And he's married on top of it. Seriously, dude? Seriously? So now they're all implicated in this. Like, Brett got blasted, so he was, nothing was ever, like, he's not going to do anything ever again anyway. And then this other guy's a billionaire, so, like, in the long run, like, what does he care? And so it was just him and her. The CEO of the studio and some Australian actress who's getting auditions. Power goes to their heads and they think they won't get caught. I guess not. I guess they think it's just smiles and rainbows and glitter. Until the LA Times comes out with a hit piece and then you've got problems. Or somebody that, like, there's always somebody jockeying for your spot around here. Like, you have to keep that in mind. Like, they'll get rid of you with the thinnest veil of an excuse. They're like, oh no, gotta go, bye, because they can get somebody in for cheaper, or somebody they can make noise with a press release for. Silly. Silly, 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 silly. Oh, hello, Seth David. How are you? It's just like, it's disappointing. And we'll see who, replaces him as a CEO or what they're going to do, because now the whole town's running scared after this Fox Disney acquisition, because everybody's getting axed from Fox. Everybody, even people that Disney said, oh, we're totally going to keep these people. We're going to keep them going. They're going to stay their production, blah, blah, blah. They're like, done. Now that the ink's dry on the check, done. Over with, out. People just driving away from the lot, never to be seen or heard from again. So nobody around here is safe. Ever. Ever, 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 ever. So it behooves you to get a Google phone. Or a trap phone. Or, I don't know, do what the drug dealers do in trap chat. Like, don't put these things in writing. What are you doing? This is so ridiculous. This kind of stuff has been going on since Hollywood started, but in this age and they get caught. It's true, but when you have all of these digital fingerprints all over everything, how could you not get caught? And it's going to be some clause in your contract some fine print that you violated or something. Like, you can do whatever you want if you don't get caught. WB's going to find a lamb. Yeah. We'll see. I mean, they're doing okay. They're doing better than Fox, that's for sure. So long as they can find somebody to take over the helm that's not a complete bonehead, they should be fine. But that is the conclusion of No Filter Friday. If you're going to have correspondence, get a trap phone. What are you doing? Seriously? Come on. And I will see you all next week for more nonsense, basically. They need to find a lion or a lioness. People are thinking that it's going to be a lioness, but it's not. Warner Brothers is owned by the Japanese. It'll be another dude. But, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Oh, hey. Oh, that's so nice. Great. You found yourself a platform to channel your positive energy. You haven't changed since the last thing 8 years ago. Detroit Reels, proud of you. Oh, you're so sweet. Oh, and Sherrod, best DJ in Vegas. Fox has a master plan. Yeah, they do. They do. They'll get it together. Who knows what's going to happen to their IPs? It's kind of like how things have filtered out through MGM and stuff like that. Like, it's very, very similar situation, I feel like. Except their lot's not historic, so it's not going to, change hands in that way. But whatever. Things change. That's what they do. Everything's always changing around here. If you're not changing, you're dying. So, whatever. I will see you all next week for another No Filter Friday. Well, we will change again. Otherwise, we will die. And I will see you all then. Thanks for dropping by No Filter Friday in Public House Media.